presentation. All right, we are recording now. Awesome. Well, my name is Jeremy Staley. I work with CEC. We are a consulting firm that has been assisting the city of Tulsa with the traffic calming program since late 2015. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. This is indeed the neighborhood traffic calming public meeting for the East 34th Street traffic calming project from 129th East Avenue to 136th East Avenue. And with me tonight is Mary Kate Rowe, one of my assistants at CEC that knows a lot about the traffic calming program and probably knows more on a day-to-day basis with all the many sites that we're dealing with than I do. So I'm grateful she could be here tonight. Also, we have two traffic engineers from the city of Tulsa. We have Russell Bausch and Mike Van Slyke. And Russell has been working with us for a few years on this project. And so we're glad that they could be here to answer any questions that may be on the city's end or to help with this presentation. Okay, so I'm going to set a few ground rules here real quick before we get moving on this. I'd like if I'm going to mute everybody, and at some point in time, I will unmute you all, or I'll invite you all to unmute yourself. And if you feel like saying any comments, feel free to do so. But I encourage you, since this is going to be a video, just please write your comments down and hold them until we get to the end. It should go pretty quickly with the presentation, then we can ask the question. So I'm going to go ahead and mute that. This will be posted on the city's YouTube channel, and there will be a link provided in the Improve Our Tulsa website, which it's already there. As soon as the websites get back up and running, people can see that. The video is easy to access that way. And we also have a chat box for those who are on a computer. And you can click on that chat and feel free to ask questions there. We could answer those as we go along because it's not as disruptive. And also the questions would be waiting for us for after the end. So please feel free to use that. All right. Well, this project started when Mr. Byron Fulbright submitted his application for a traffic calming program, a project in February of 2018. Hard to believe that was a little over 3 years ago. In doing so, Mr. Fulbright became what we call a traffic calming advocate for the street. He was the leader to help push this program through with all the residents on that street. We completed our traffic study back in March of 2020. We had a hiatus on the program at one point in time because we ran out of construction funds and we ceased doing our traffic studies. And this project happened to get in right before COVID hit, which slowed the project down even more. When that came through toward the middle and end of 2020 in March. So we're back up and running and allowed to do these public meetings via Zoom. Now, there are two warrants that are required for speed hump eligibility through the traffic study. The first one is the 85th percentile speed must be 5 miles per hour over the posted speed limit or unposted speed limit. If it's a street where the homes face away from the street, meaning it's just their backyards on the fence, which we have some throughout Tulsa, that speed has to be 7 miles per hour greater than the posted speed limit. On this particular project, our 85th percentile was 30.6 miles per hour. So we did exceed that. The speed limit is 25. The second warrant is the average daily traffic, ADT, must be between 600 and 5,000 vehicles per day. We've got to hit that minimum of 600. And if it exceeds 5,000, this would not be a residential street. It would be in a higher category of street usage. And in this particular project, we had just shy of 1,400 vehicles per day. So it's fairly heavily traveled. Now for project warrants, there's just a few other factors that are considered for eligibility for speed humps. First, the street shall provide access to abutting residential properties. Apartment complexes can be on it, but they're only counted as one property, whereas every residence on the street had a vote. If it's a big complex, only one person gets the vote, and that's typically the manager of that group. Second, the street must not have more than one traffic lane in each direction. This is not intended for a multi-lane roadway. Third, the street segment must be at least 300 feet in length. Fourth, the street must have a regulatory speed limit of 30 miles per hour or less. Fifth, the street shall have curb and gutter to prevent vehicle runarounds. You don't have that, people will just bypass the speed humps and just drive right through the ditches or through people's drives to avoid it. And last, the speed humps won't be installed on a residential collector street where there are traffic signals on both ends of the project. And this does happen sometimes, and it's unfortunate that it does disqualify the project. In this case, it is not a problem. Agenda here. Now, once the project warrants and passes all those other factors and construction funding is available, the next step is the petition and endorsement process. Now, this actually slowed the project down and has in some, just because of the lack of funding. We've put that petition process on hold on several projects, but we've been back up and running now for about a year. So a list of street addresses is provided by CEC to the street calming advocate. And it's his job to maybe divide and conquer and split that up, or her job. But they go knocking from door to door, and they have to gain signatures from at least 80% of the properties on that street. And 67% of the residences on that street have to be in favor of it. So we've got some pretty high standards that have to be met. This isn't one of those things that's a success if only 51% of the people are for it and 49 are against it. It is intended to have an overwhelming majority of people understand what this is about, and a clear majority are in favor of it. Now, in this project, Mr. Fulbright went around and he was able to get signatures from 82% of the residences along that alignment, and of that, every one of them marked yes. So everybody he approached was all in favor of this. So there was an overwhelming majority of people that are in favor of these speed humps and the danger that the speeding is in the neighborhood. If the street falls within a homeowners association, they have to have an endorsement statement signed, which requires the officers of that board to meet and to agree that this is in the good interest of the HOA. In this case, there is not an HOA, so this was an easy step to get through. But that is a bit of an issue at times, just because of the street speed humps. Knowing we could put speed humps on one street, we could have a traffic issue on adjacent streets, and so the HOA has to be made aware of that, and it has to be a group decision. So once the petition and the endorsement process is complete, a speed hump layout plan is designed. And these speed humps are located at spacings as directed by the traffic calming program that the city of Tulsa has designed. Depending on the length of the block, the speed humps vary, but by and large, over long distances like this particular project, we need those speed humps to be spaced at no greater than 600 feet between them. I know some people say there's an excessive amount of speed humps on this. Why can't we just have 2 or 3? Well, the reason for that is if the distances are too great between speed humps, people will gun it between the speed humps to try and make up time, which makes the situation even more dangerous. So keeping those speed humps at 600 foot or less is in everybody's best interest on that street for safety. So I'm now going to share my screen, and we will go over the layout for this project. Can I get a verbal from anybody if they can see this? Okay.
Yes,
Very
I can
good.
see it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica and Justin. Appreciate it. Okay. So in this particular view, north is up and 129th East Avenue is on the top left side. This top view has a match line A, which comes down to the next view, and that's where it carries over. So within these views, we've got the street addresses written up along adjacent to right on top of each house. So you might be able to see where your house is located in here. So our first speed hump is a little over 300 foot from 129th East Avenue. And I will admit that this particular project, some of the drives are really close together. And so it made it a little challenging to try and hit optimum spacing on things. We do have the speed humps at no greater than 600 feet. But because of the fact that there are so many drives in close proximity, we tried to fit it in the best places that fit the design criteria and leave as much space between the drives and the speed humps as possible. Ideally, we'd like to have about 12 to 15 foot between the edge of the drive and the speed hump. That way, when you back up, you won't be running over the speed humps the whole time. But we fit it as best as we could in this project. And I don't think we'll have too bad of an issue. Some of them might be a little tighter, but that is the goal. The next speed humps that you see are just to the west of 131st East Avenue. And then we have another one in between the next 2 blocks. And we move to the next sheet. Again, the match line B is where the previous sheet left off in that bottom view. And as this street ends up curving off to the south, we've got another speed hump here in between East 33rd Place and East 33rd Street. And finally, one more between 135th and 136th. So as you can see, we've got a total of 5 speed humps within this whole stretch.
Yep.
I am now going to show you the details of these speed humps to show you what they look like and give you a better idea. Right in the center of the screen is an aerial view or a plan view of these speed humps. They are 22 foot long from beginning to end. They've got white chevron striping over them for clear visibility for anybody driving on the street, and that is a reflective white paint. We also have these signs right adjacent to it. That way each direction approach can see the speed hump signs that clearly labels there's a speed hump with a little arrow pointing downward. That way people know it. So between the striping and the speed hump signs, it's pretty clear for any user or driver on the roadway to see where these are at. That way they can adjust their speed. The dimensions of these, and I told you how they're 22 foot long. They are parabolic in shape at the entrance and egress of each one of these. And they're no more than about 3.5 inches tall, right in the center of the plateau. With the parabolic shape on there, if people end up driving 20 or 25 miles per hour, these are fairly easy to be able to navigate over without having a jarring effect on your car. I don't know if it'd be great to be holding a coffee cup full of coffee trying to go over it, but you shouldn't be causing a mess in your car with that. They begin 2 foot from the edge of the curb. And they've got a little 24-inch taper on there. And the reason for that twofold: one is allow stormwater to pass these speed humps. We don't want these to create a dam in the roadway to block drainage. And secondly, it would allow bicyclists to be able to easily navigate in that gap to where they don't have to go over the speed humps if they don't want to. All right, let's see, move on with the rest of this. I'm going to go ahead and leave that up there now. That way, probably have questions it's having to do with the site of those or locations. Just a few more comments here. The funding source for this project is Improve Our Tulsa 2. That bond issue was passed back in November of 2019. And with that, the city allocated $500,000 to assist with designing and developing these plans and to provide construction materials for the speed humps. And in order for the city of Tulsa to extend those dollars as much as possible, the city will be constructing these speed humps with their own city forces. They already own the equipment, they own the trucks, they have the staff and the training and capability to do this. So the city is able to get typically 6 or more speed humps installed for the same price that it would take to have a contractor paid to do it. Because those dollars just go toward the signage and striping and asphalt materials. All the labor and the vehicle expenses are paid for in this standard city budget. Now there's a pros and cons of that. The pros are we can construct a lot more speed humps to assist neighborhoods like yours with these projects, but it comes at the cost of the city will fit this in their maintenance crews availability. And right now they are filling potholes still from the crazy ice storms that we had back in February. And they already have a project or two on queue to be able to start these speed humps. So as soon as they're done with those operations, they'll be able to move on to it. But that does have the caveat: if there are emergency repairs or things that have to be done that take these crews off the work site, they have other priorities that have to hit. But I do know once they typically start a project site, they will work on that until they complete those speed humps, meaning they probably won't start one and then come back a month or two later to finish it up. At the close of this meeting, and as soon as the city's website is back up and running, we will post this video to the YouTube channel for the city of Tulsa. And once that happens, we're going to provide a 2-week window for people to be able to call or email us questions. And we'll do our best to address those questions in our plans. And once that period expires, we'll adjust our plans and get this into the hopper for the city's maintenance crews to work on the project on a first come, first served basis. As I mentioned, there's already 2 projects ahead of this project at this time. So you can reach me at a phone number of 918-663-9401. Again, my name is Jeremy Staley. You could also ask for Mary Kate Rowe. We're both at CEC. Phone number is 918-663-9401, or you can email me. My email address is Jeremy, Jeremy, .Staley, STAHLE, at connectcec.com. That's connect, like connecting a cable, followed by CEC, Charlie Echo Charlie.com. I am now going to unmute everybody. And actually, I never did mute you. You guys have the ability to unmute yourselves. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Can you repeat your phone number one more time, please?
Sure. It is 918-663-9401.
Thank you. We got it.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I'd be happy to.
So we have a concern with the third speed hump. We've had several projects on our corner already, from the striping of the intersection, the street lamp that's now there, the ADA sidewalks. The city has torn up that side of our grass that we have to mow, and it's ridiculously steep. It's difficult to mow. I already have a street sign, a street lamp, and now I'm gonna have another sign from the city. Is there any way, I know people don't agree maybe where they're located, and I understand we have to have these, I understand that, but is there any way that we could just not put a third sign in my area that the city's already torn up and has not really cared to fix?
I'll let Russell or Mike visit over the maintenance of that property, because that could be an issue that they could get their crews to help with. I will state though, wherever these speed humps go, we have to put the signs with it. They go hand in hand. Now the question would come up, is it possible for us to move that to another location? And we can look into that and see if it's possible to shift it to another place.
Shift it towards the school one block, like west of 32nd Court, or maybe go the other side of 132nd East Avenue, closer to the second speed bump. But I understand like we have to have the spacing just right too. I'm like, we have taken the brunt of some things here. And I'm like, is there any way we could not take one more thing?
Now, are you all located at 12960 or is it 13203?
12960.
12960. Okay. Well, we will look into that to see if it's possible. I know we would not shift it to the west because in the spacing between that and the one just west of 131st East Avenue, it's just way too close. We don't want speed humps that are 120 foot away from each other. That'd be very, very excessive. And it's not very cost effective to put speed humps that close. But we can look to see if it's possible for us to shift that a little bit closer, perhaps just west or northwest of 33rd Street, perhaps. So we'll look into that and see if it's possible. Yeah. And if we can, we will certainly do that. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Like, when this diagram was taken, it's not showing the new ADA. I mean, it's a jigsaw puzzle on that corner to try to mow already, and then all the other obstacles. It's not fun.
Okay.
And a complaint there very simply, when they did their first turnover of that land to put in that light pole, they put an electrical box in the middle of it, and they left boulders that nobody on this call could pick up by themselves. And we haven't been able to mow around that box or weed eat now for almost 2.5 years. We just kind of weed eat it and just kind of let it go.
Wow.
But it's just kind of, yeah, they left it in bad shape.
Mike or Russell, is it possible for the city's maintenance staff to go over there and dress that up with some topsoil to flatten that out or smooth that out? I don't know how bad of a magnitude, if it's something that city crews, perhaps when they do construct the speed humps, they could go ahead and address that at that time too. What are your thoughts?
Well, what Mike and I can do is one of us can head out there sometime this week and take a look at the area and see what it actually looks like. What type of sign is currently out there? What sign do they put in your yard?
right now we have just the street lamp and then just a street sign. But I mean, it's two different things that we have to weed eat and mow around on top of an already mess that they've left. And so now we're just gonna have a third sign at some point to go around, and it's a lot.
The street sign, is it just the street names or what is that sign?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the names of the intersection.
Okay. Yeah, because we might possibly be able to move that to another corner, take one of the signs out of your yard. We'll have to just look at the situation that's out there and see what's actually out there at this time. Yeah, either Mike or myself will head out there and do some visual observations, and then we'll talk to our supervisors and see what we can have done out there to help you guys out.
Well, feel free to knock on the door. I mean, whatever, it's fine. The street sign they put in, that soil is really soft. So right now that street sign it ain't going nowhere, but it's pretty wobbly.
What's your address? Just so I could look at it or we could check it out.
34 South 132nd East Avenue.
I'm sorry, you
Yeah,
cut
well,
out really bad there. What was that?
It's 3405
Okay.
South 132nd.
Yeah, and when that crew came out, like they talked to us when they did the ADA sidewalk, and they had to cut part of our driveway to put it in. And now a little bit of where they connected that is deteriorating. So, you know, we haven't minded projects, but at the same time, they just didn't turn out as beautiful as you might like.
Yeah, I don't see why. One of us will make it a point to get out there and take a look at that.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that comment. Does anybody else have any comments or questions?
This is Byron. Russell, when do you think you'll be out here? Because, you know, I know they're talking about down there by their house. If you come up to 133rd East Avenue, they did the same thing up there, but they got the crosswalk on the north side of the street. They've made a dam where the water settles right in the middle of the sidewalk. I brought it to the attention of the inspector when she was out here, but I guess it just fell on deaf ears because the crossing guard, every morning when it rains, he's out there sweeping water out of the crosswalk. I mean, out of the off the sidewalk, so the kids won't be walking through puddles of water. Is there any way we could have that raised up where the water would drain on down the street?
Yeah. What we can do is we'll talk to our streets crew and see if they can possibly replace that panel or two of concrete that's having issues,
Right.
where the water's flooding at, and we'll see if there's anything that can be done with that to either take those panels out and put new ones in so they're sloping correctly, or if there's something else that can be done with it. And so that's something that we'll look to also while we're out there.
You have any idea when you'll be out here? I'd like to be here when you get out here.
Yeah, I could be there either. I think tomorrow. I think we have a meeting on Thursday morning, so I think anytime tomorrow or Thursday afternoon.
Anytime tomorrow's fine.
Okay.
If you want to give me a call, my number is 918-663-7530.
663-7530.
Yes, sir. Call me
Okay.
when you're on the way, and I'll be standing there when you get there.
I'll give you my
Okay.
phone number as well, just because I'll answer the door. I'm working from home, but Justin, phone number 918-213-5451.
I want to
Okay.
encourage you all, if you do have more questions or comments, so please do so. I am going to step out at this time. I do apologize for that, but I'm looking forward to seeing my daughter graduate. And thank you so much for your time and joining us. It was nice to meet you, and I appreciate your support for this and the comments that you've got. So Mary Kate, Russell, Mike, I think if I actually jump off, it might terminate since I started this meeting. So I'm just going to turn my camera off and you guys go right ahead. And Mary Kate's recording this, so she'll make sure to save all that. So I appreciate your time. It's nice to meet y'all.
Okay, nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions?
I got other questions, but it's not concerning that street common. We got issues there at the school crossing that needs to be addressed. So I don't know who I need to contact on that. I've tried to get the police out here. The sergeant tells me he can't put an officer out here to monitor that. We have traffic blowing through the stop sign. I went to the mayor's hotline and I requested a flashing light around the stop sign because the people here, they just ignored the stop sign at 133rd East Avenue and 34th. It's a three-way stop, but if they're heading east or west, they totally ignore that stop sign. And that's what brought me to do this idea of putting the speed humps in. But the crossing guard got hit year before last. And it's crazy out here in the mornings and in the afternoons when the kids get out of school. And the school is Bovers Elementary. It's on 133rd East Avenue. So if you know who I would need to contact, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we have the school safety coordinator is in our department also, and I'll reach out to her to see get some more information about that accident that involved the crossing guard a year or two ago, and
Okay.
see if she knows some more information about that she can share with us.
Okay.
And
his name is Randy Johnson. Is the crossing guard that got hit.
okay.
Okay. Well, great.
It
That
looks
narrowed
like-
our search down.
Yep. So Mike and I will plan on being out there probably tomorrow sometime, and then we'll talk. Like I said, we'll talk to the school safety coordinator and just try to get some more information on that accident and see what happened with it. And as far as the blinking lights around the stop signs, our supervisor typically doesn't do those, and so there's probably not a very strong chance we'll get the flashing lights around the stop sign itself.
Mm-hmm.
But with adding the speed humps, this will really greatly reduce the speed of people going there. And so hopefully it's slow them down enough that they actually do start stopping at the stop sign.
Hopefully.
Or passing on the left.
You were saying that these speed humps are not really that tall. You said at the top they're like,
Yeah, they're about 3.5 inches total thickness. And what Jeremy was saying is when you're going 20 or 25 miles an hour over them,
yes.
It's not too rough when you're going that speed. But if you go much more than about 25, then they do start getting pretty rough pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
They're not really designed to impede our ability to drive as much as they are to slow people down who are going too fast.
right, exactly. That's the purpose. It's not to impede the speed of the traffic at 25 miles an hour, which is what the speed limit is in the residential. What they're designed for is to slow down people that are speeding, that are going really fast.
Are these the type that your car will just kind of hump over, or does your car sit completely on top of it?
These are 22 foot long, and your car will actually be pretty much completely on top of it. They used to have a different style they used several years ago that were 12 foot wide, and we were getting, sorry about that, I had to roll the window because the dogs were barking. But the ones that are 12 foot long, we're getting a lot of complaints about them being too rough because your the front tires were going down as the back tires were going up.
Right.
And so the speed humps got redesigned where they're 22-foot long now, which is a little bit more gradual. It gives you time for your car to actually even out on top before it starts going down. So you're not having the abrupt up and down at the same time.
Just curious.
I've experienced that, and you can drive 25 and clear that without getting totally jarred out of the seat. So I'm good with that.
Me too.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to know that they're what they are. So.
Looked like we had another question. Ms. Ricer, maybe?
I have a question. Are you have a schedule for start the project?
We don't have, oh, sorry, Russell, you want to take that?
Yeah, we don't have the schedule set just yet. Like Jeremy said, the crews are still finishing up the potholes from all the water damage and freezing back in February. And so once they finish that, they have 2 other speed hunt projects they're going to be working on prior to this one. And so from the time that they start a project, it takes roughly 1 to 2 weeks to go from beginning to completion at each location. And so, they have the 2 projects that are before you. So there's probably a minimum of 2 weeks to a month. But like Jeremy also said, if they have emergencies that they have to do or other higher priority stuff, the crews will have to concentrate on that stuff first before they put speed humps in. And so I don't know exactly how long it'll be. We do have the funding right now to put speed humps in. All we're needing is the manpower to actually get them all installed and get it all done in a timely manner.
I think it's the urgent project because all cars, trucks. I'm living on 12914. It's too near like the
129
on 129, and is I'm sorry, I'm learning English. I try. The accidents, it's normal on this street because the old cars, the speed is terrible. Don't have a precaution. All cars when enter the 34th Street, enter, I'm sorry.
they not respect the speed limit, so
Yes.
she had a problem because when the cars enter to the 129, they then turn to the 34th Street. The people they drive very fast. So
Right.
I think ¿cómo se dice?
Bump.
The bump is like I don't know. There is a rule there because she think like it's very like long from the 129 from the bump. So I don't know
Right.
if that is possible. They can move it more close or something.
I
like
think
that.
it's very far because on this space have a more more speed.
Yeah, I think the plans they show roughly 300 something feet from the street to that first speed hump, and our typical spacing that we allow is 200 feet minimum up to 600 feet maximum. And so, there's potential that they might be able to move it a little bit closer, but they won't be able to move it all the way to the very end, like you're thinking. It'll
Right.
still be, if they do move it, it might be one property to the west of where it is currently, because that'll give you close to the limits of the minimums and the maximum. Sorry, the minimums that we allow.
Could I jump in there for a second? This lady that's just got to speaking, she's the third house to the east of 129th. And the house on the very corner, 12904, they've had several accidents on that corner because people turn off 129th onto 34th at a high rate of speed, either coming from the south and making a right turn or coming from the north making a left turn. And they've hit cars that's been parked in front of that house there on the corner. So I see what she's trying to say. She would like that speed hump that's at 129.24 moved closer to 129th and put a speed limit sign. We have no speed limit sign out here at all. And, you know, I know we supposed to know that in a residential area that is 25 miles an hour, but everybody don't know that. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll make sure a speed limit sign gets put in there. Yeah, we'll put a work order in and get that speed limit sign in for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, as far as moving that speed hump to the west, closer to 129th,
right.
We'll talk it over with Jeremy and Mary Kate and see how close that would actually be able to fit it.
Okay.
They got to make sure that they avoid, if there's any utilities out there, they have to avoid the covers for manholes and sewers and drains like that. They can't hit you got to stay away from storage drains. And so we'll just need to check the area, just make sure there's nothing conflicting where they might potentially move that speed hump to.
Okay.
And as long as there's not any conflicting issues, then yeah, we can move west.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
that'll work.
But about 200 feet would be, I think, the
closest
closest that would do it.
Yeah. Okay, I can understand that because I'm looking at 290 feet right there from the stop sign up to the first speed hump. So if we knock off 90 feet, brought it 90 feet to the west, that would put it right there at our house. Maybe. Something to look at.
And Mary Kate, do you see any issues with that off the top of your head without that actually going out there? We'll look at that also when we go out there tomorrow just to see if we see any conflicts. But off the top of your head, do you see any reason why we wouldn't be able to put it a little bit closer?
No, I don't think so. Our biggest issue here was drives, but it looks like between 129.14 and 129.18, there may be enough space to move it to there.
Does that end up changing positions of others to make the footage work right?
It shouldn't, as long as we don't go over 600 between the other ones, we're fine. So I think we have enough wiggle room there that we won't have to move any other ones.
Okay. Well, that's all I got.
Byron, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Nancy Bollinger down at 13355 East 34th. I just want to thank you for spearheading this.
Well, thank you for participating.
On top of it for us. This has gotten too serious.
Yeah, because they flying when they get past your house.
Even the buses, the school buses.
Even the school bus. I've called Union School District about this too. The school buses even sailing through here. Yeah. So they said they was going to talk with their drivers, but they can't keep drivers. They keep rotating. So
I know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just hate for a kid to get hit out here and killed because, we procrastinating and taking forever to get this done.
I know. And the more it gets to be summer, the worse it's going to be.
Worse it gets. Yeah. That's so true. And then I'm noticing now people are pulling these ATVs out and running up and down the street on them things.
I know.
And that's getting scary. They coming off side streets onto 134th, ain't looking at the traffic that's coming east and west. And I'm afraid someone is going to get hit like that, so I don't know.
They like to turn around on my third driveway too, which isn't very nice.
Yep, they sure do. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, we just have to wait and see.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments?
No, I'm good. I'll just wait on Jeremy. I mean, Russell and them tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. If you guys do think of anything else, I posted our phone number and our emails in the chat. Feel free to give Jeremy or myself a call anytime, and we'll try to help you as much as we can. Thank you guys for participating.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Byron, is there any time that you'd prefer for us to be out there tomorrow?
Early is good. I'm an early riser. Early is good. I'd love for you to be out here when the school guard is here at 7:30. Then you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And they're talking about raining tomorrow. So that would be fabulous.
Early is fine with me. Like I say, I gave you my number and I'm working from home, and I'll just let them know I need to go outside for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be quite 7:30. Mike and I usually don't get to the office until 8 o'clock. And so, so it probably won't be that early.
Okay.
Mike, what are you thinking? Do you think about 9:30 or so?
Yeah, I'm free whenever. I was gonna suggest the afternoon school period. What time is that, Byron?
That's 2 o'clock. Well, let's say 2:30.
Okay. I was thinking that one to see the crossing guard and see what school traffic looks like out there.
That would be great.
That
Yes,
way,
sir.
I mean, I know 7:30 is a little bit before we start, so that way we can
Right.
still see.
Okay.
I would like
Yeah.
to observe that, so.
Yeah, let's do the afternoon. Two in the afternoon, 2:20 in the afternoon. That's what time the school bell rings, at 2:20. So you'll see the traffic and how they sit on 133rd. Man, it backs up the neighborhood. People out here park. No one gets out their car to take their kids to school anymore. Everybody's got to sit in single file. And like I said, man, my crossing guard's in argument with folks all the time because they're in a hurry to get there and he's trying to get the kids across the street, and it's just crazy out here. So yeah,
That seems to be very common at a lot of locations throughout the city of Tulsa.
I can believe that. I can believe that. That's not a problem for me to believe.
Are they putting the speed humps on 36th Street on the other side of the school? Is that 36th Street?
Yes,
that's 36 on the other side, but that we didn't petition that because I'm not over there.
Right. Just wondering.
When we go
if
back
we're just
that
shifting
way
traffic over a street
to Walmart or whatever, that is a straightaway, and we do find that people tend to hit it.
Yeah. I assume when these speed humps are installed, they will start using 36th Street to go east and west because there's no speed humps over there.
Yeah, we're just gonna be shifting the issue over.
Yeah, just be moving the issue over to another street.
So the neighborhood I live in, I live at 31st and Peoria. I regularly have people fly down my block. I live on 33rd Street, actually, 33rd Place. And there's a signal at both ends, so I do not qualify for speed humps. But I could lift my laptop up right now and show you a vehicle fly through the stop sign in front of my house.
Yes, sir.
And there are speed humps on Cincinnati as well that were built probably back in 2016, 2017, something like that. And what that has done is shifted traffic throughout the neighborhood elsewhere. So I think the best course of action for that would be, make friends with the people on 36th and have them recommend traffic calming.
I can start knocking on doors, boy. I tell you, some folks are not in agreement of these speed humps.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I am a fan of them. I'm an advocate for them. I like them. They kind of are a nuisance, I understand, but if it makes the streets more safe for everyone, I'm all for it, because people don't realize that that's a 2,000-pound piece of metal that is very dangerous.
Right. And I'm not fond of them either. I got cars that sit really low, so I have to take my time going over them. But as long as it's a safety issue, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I like this meeting because it didn't, after you described the speed humps, it doesn't sound like they're going to be as bad as I thought. Because originally, we didn't just need one more thing, to deal with. So.
Yeah, I noticed you said no as soon as I said speed hump. Yeah, I know who said no. So when I heard your voice, I said, "Oh boy." But
no,
yeah, it's not that bad.
Now we're in agreement now, and I agree, they fly. I hear them behind this window all day long.
Yep.
But it's just, we took a brunt here with a lot of stuff. And so we're just like, can we ease this a little bit, make this a little bit better?
Yeah, it's kind of like that guy that lives straight across. Well, he don't live there. They work out of that house straight across the street from you, with them trucks that they park on the wrong side of the street in the morning with the lights on.
Yeah.
People trying to get around them. It's crazy.
Yeah, they impede us getting in and out of the driveway all the time.
Yep. But I couldn't get no one at that house, so.
Well, at
But
least
no
the
one-
kid with the
no one
alarm in
lives
the car finally left.
Yeah, it's a business out of that house. It's not, no one lived there. So,
All right.
okay.
Russell or Mike, do you guys have anything else?
Thank you, neighbors.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. All right,
Thank you, everybody.
We'll be headed tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow about 2:20 then.
All righty. See you then.
All right. All right, you guys have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.